All right, the mic's hot. You ready?
Episode number 2 out of the new studio.
Oh, crap. Are we going to start it like that? Out of what studio?
The
Lakeside studio here at beautiful Smith Lake.
Coleman, Alabama.
Come on down and be on the show, and you'll get the view of the beautiful lake. We don't have a view of the lake, but all of our guests would.
Yeah, we can see the water and the house.
Yeah, I see the ass end of my boat and the side of my house. So I guess that's
Speaking of boats, it won't be long before it'll be time to winterize and take out.
I've got to, and I may have to get you to help me. Because if you noticed over across the slough, you see the dock over there tied up? That's my get out of the lake spot. And they're going to dredge over there, and the guy moved his dock down there. I'm sure Doug told him it was okay. Doug usually, that's where I pull out. That's exactly where I back in, right there. So, plus the lake came up, 4 feet, 5 feet? Yeah, with Hurricane Francine rain.
We'll have to go somewhere and get it out.
We had some rain, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll have to, one evening, I'll take off from here and go to the park. Yeah. You can just drag my truck over there. We'll drag it back over here.
Yeah.
Put her in the shed, in the shop, or the barn, or whatever I call it up there now. So,
well,
put her away for the winter.
When it starts getting time to winterize and take boats out, that's also the time it seems like everybody's getting geared up for hunting season.
Oh, I'll be honest with you, I've got a little fever come on now. I got down there and worked all day, bush hogging roads. With that rain, we didn't think we'd get any work coming in. And everybody was rushing to get their green fields in. And that could be a good thing, but it could be a bad thing.
Yeah, I had a couple friends. They sent me some videos, and theirs is gone.
Did they wash it away?
Yeah.
I was afraid in Dallas County, and I saw my buddy's rain gauge. On his gauge, in 2 days, he got almost 12 inches of rain, over 10.5 inches of rain.
Yeah, we had more than that here.
No, I wasn't talking about the other night. I'm talking about before I got down there.
Oh, well.
So I don't know what all we got that night, the Friday night.
I know a buddy of mine, he was posting daily, and seems like he was a little over 20 inches by the time it stopped Sunday.
Well, like I said, you can get them out there, but I'll be honest with you, with those seeds, even if it didn't wash them away, it could beat them so deep in the ground. And then if we don't get no more rain, they'll never bust the surface.
Well, that was my thought process. I mean, we talked about maybe trying to get planted Monday after it quit raining. I told Jamie, I said, there's no rain in the forecast.
Plus, I don't know if you could even disc. It'd have been so muddy.
Well, we've tilled already, and
you're just gonna seed on top of it,
because
maybe
everything
over a little bit or drag it or something.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Cuz made a big post where he got out, and I listened to his podcast this morning, and all of the gamekeeper bunch and his doctor buddy, they all got their fields in. But I'm going to be interested to see. Nobody's talking about a nice 1/2 inch, 1 inch rain shower on top of something's great. But when you get a foot of rain, the 2 foot of rain, to me, you're just going to wash your seed away, especially if your field's got any slope to it at all. And you know how we are in the hill country.
Well, buddy of mine planted his Thursday before the rain, but he's got a little flat, small flat area. And I talked to him yesterday, and he said his was actually sprouting already.
Well, I mean, I can see it sprout, but if we don't get no rain over, let's just say 3 or 4 weeks, I can see it just withering away and dying, and come mid-October, you're going to be replanting.
That's what happened to us last year. We planted too early, and then we didn't get any rain on top of it. So I'm sticking to my guns at least the 1st of October before we even talk about it.
Well, that's for the first Saturday of October. That's our scheduled planting day. If we get rain and we can't, we'll do it the next weekend. Or
we've got our seed. We're ready.
My seed's sitting on ready. I mean, it's there. I just got to let them know the day we're going to pick it up, seed and fertilizer, and
that's something I still got to do. I still got to get with some guys, and we got to make a fertilizer run. But no biggie. we're not far from anywhere to get fertilizer. So,
Well, it's kind of got me fired up a little bit. I mean, I've been looking in my gun safe, and I ain't cleaned no, got them out, wiped nothing down.
I did do that during the rain. I
I saw you had a honeydew list, I think, during that rain, because somebody was going to come down and hang out with me Saturday and see the hunting club, see my property. Had an open invite, so everybody out there. I don't want to hear when he says he ain't never been down there. He had all opportunity. No, you didn't invite yourself. I even texted you checking on you.
I was like, I may just come down there, and
I had your bed made. Everything was ready.
Did you have me an outlet for my CPAP?
Had an outlet for the CPAP right beside you.
You know that's a must.
Oh yeah, I won't sleep. I'm not sleeping in the same hotel room with you without a CPAP. Matter of fact, if the power went out, you just have to go get in the truck where you could run it, plug it up in the truck.
Well, talking about getting things ready, you making any changes on your archery setup this year as far as broadheads or anything?
Well, and I hate to admit this, I did go through, I had a new string put on my bow.
Yeah.
And I shoot ACCs, which they don't make anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the guy at the bow shop. I haven't counted up my arrows. I don't need more than 6. I've got 2 or 3 that I practice with, but my hunting arrows, I keep them separated. I only shoot them once I put the broadheads on, or the broadheads probably still on them. But he was telling me, and he told me Easton made another arrow and something similar to ACC. That was aluminum over carbon era. But he told me a half a dozen of them arrows is $200 naked. You still got to get them fletched and cut, inserts. And then if you go lighted nocks or do any of that kind of stuff, which I've never used a lighted nock on that Raven crossbow guy, it's got some lighted nocks, but I don't know. I'm not a big crossbow fan right now. I think it was them expandable broadheads I was using, but I know I shot 2 deer that should have been dead, and they probably are dead, but you go 200-300 yards following blood and lose it. It's I don't know, and I'm not gonna blame the crossbow at all. I think it was the expandable. I just don't like it. Yeah. I never have liked them. I like my fixed blade.
That's the one thing I'm gonna change up this year. I'm gonna shoot the Montec G5 crossbow broadhead.
They make a crossbow broadhead?
Yes,
because I talked to the guy at the bow shop and I said, can I shoot my regular Montec broadheads? And he said, yeah, not any problem whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But if they're making...
Yeah, they got a crossbow.
But I'm going to a heavier grain. I'm moving up in grain, even with my...
You're going to go to a 125 or something?
Yeah, back in the old days, I shot a 135. Yeah. And you know what? I was shooting I can't remember. It was low 20-inch arrows. I was shooting a 2016 aluminum arrow. That's smaller than a number 2 pencil.
Right.
With a 135 grain broadhead out of a Golden Eagle bow, shooting about 75 pounds. I killed 13 deer in a row. Every one of them was a pass-through. Oh, yeah, that looks just like the regular Montecs. Mm-hmm. And what I love about them, was that me?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that made no sound no more. I could almost be like one of them picture things you run your fingers around. Excuse me. But I've killed multiple deer with the same broadhead. That's what I like about them.
Yeah, because you can just lay them on a flat stone and run them and then sharpen them right back up.
Sure enough. That's what I like about them.
I didn't know that they were doing a practice broadhead now with Montec.
Well, they had one.
Because like the last time I shot Montecs, it was when they first came out. Mm-hmm. I was still hunting in Tennessee, and I didn't get a practice with them, but I mean, they always flew.
They fly great. I have tuned them a little bit. Right. I take my insert maybe and heat it up and twist it around a little bit. I always like my blades to line up with my veins for some reason. I don't. Yeah. Well, actually, the way my rest works, I've got an overdraw drop away. That I have to have my fletching or my broadhead turned a certain way or it hits, so it'll tap it. So I tune the broadhead a little bit. And folks, I'm by no means a bow expert. I don't change my own string. I do adjust my poundage sometimes, but that's about as far as it goes with me. I don't tie servings and do all that kind of stuff. I leave that to a professional. And I was shocked, man. That string. That's all they put on there was a string and a new peep. And $150.
Yeah.
And some change. I mean,
I wonder if they're still getting that guy from Gardendale to make the strings for them.
The Graybow guy, because that's who built my last string. I hope it is. I'll ask him next time because he didn't say anything. I just picked out the color I wanted, and I assume maybe he calls them and tells them. But
yeah, he's the one that I know. When I had my last bow strung down there, it was a guy at Gardendale that was making them, I believe.
Was you at the new Graybow bow store, or did you go back when it was back behind off of 31 back in a little like?
No, I'm talking about at Vans.
Oh, he comes up there and made them.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well,
or they order them, they measure them.
The Graybow guy, originally they had a little bitty bow shop. It was like under some doctor's offices or something off of 31 behind the skating rink down there. If you know where I'm talking, I don't know if you know where I'm talking about, but people that live that way do. It's back behind where the old tax guy used to be, and he made my first string, and then I loved it so much. When Graybow built it, they built a new place down there by Fulton Mill Elementary. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was huge, beautiful, almost a mini Woods and Water.
Okay.
But I think, they had to compete with Bass Pro Shops and Mark's Outdoors, and they were trying to be a Mark's Outdoors in a Vans world. I mean, Vans ain't cheap. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying their cost of doing business was so high, their prices were high, and the people that would shop there that wouldn't mind, they shopped at Mark's. So they lasted a couple of years, maybe 3 years. But he had built my string the first year they opened the new store, so that string was 4 or 5 years old, and it wasn't frayed or anything, but I hadn't shot it, and I didn't shoot it at all last year. I only shot it a couple times the year before that. So I thought it was time for a new string.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the safest way for you and your equipment to go ahead and just change it.
Yeah, and I mean, my Matthews, I shoot a Matthews, and I've shot them since the day they come out. I shot that Golden Eagle till I bought a Matthews. God, I wish I'd kept that Golden Eagle, just for nostalgia purposes. I gave it to my brother. First thing he did was sell it.
Like my boat.
Like my boat, yeah. The boat you wanted. I sold it to him for what I paid for it, and it had even new electronics. And dang it, he turned around and sold it for $1,000 more. Didn't even tell me he's going to sell it. Well, he didn't because he knew I'd just give him his money back. He should have gave me the opportunity, but what happened to brotherly love? You got a brother. Would your brother do that to you?
I don't think so.
See? I don't know. Well, I always thought he was adopted anyway. I ain't sure he's really blood. He's old.
I know me and you got to get out and shoot one evening.
I need to get my crossbow out and just shoot it. But I do want to shoot my bow. I want to shoot my bow just to shoot it. I don't know if my shoulder will hold up. That's why I bought that crossbow. My shoulder was giving me so much trouble. But, you hear them old boys like Cuz and Bubba, his buddy, they all still shooting bows. Of course, they're proud of that new bear bow they come out with. And
that's a nice bow.
It's a nice bow. Cuz called it a Browning like 2 or 3 times last week on his podcast. He'd come back this week and kind of
fix it. Yeah.
He said that he knew he did it, but he wasn't going to say nothing. But right off the bat, everybody started commenting, that's a bear bow, not a Browning bow. And I really hadn't shot that many different bows. My very first bow, and we can talk about this since we ain't doing a whole lot, but my first bow, you're not going to believe this. I was 14. I didn't have a job. Well, I had a job baling hay, and the guy paid good money. I made good spending money. I opened a pawn shop when I was 14 in the basement of my daddy's house. And these... Well, there wasn't no such thing as meth or crack back then, but some of the similar type people would get into tight, and they would come and pawn me their stuff if it was something I wanted. Now, if I wouldn't take no jewelry or stuff that I wasn't going to use. I was looking at stuff that old Anthony could put in his bedroom or use. And this old boy come in and pawned an Indian bow. It was made by Indian. Little bitty short bow. Man, I'd never even had a bow other than making one out of a stick and a piece of fishing line, and shooting summer cedar stems or whatever. They make good arrows too, by the way. You could pop a dog with them. But anyway, I think he pawned it. He pawned it for $50, and I gave him 2 months, 8 weeks. And I'm gonna tell you what, I shot that bow every day. I loved it. I got out in the yard. Man, I was tearing up milk jugs and hay bales. And Daddy kept telling me, you don't need to get attached to that now. That boy's gonna come back and get that bow. He ain't gonna let that bow go for $50. Ah, Daddy, he ain't got but a week left. I ain't heard nothing from him. Last day. Right after lunch. I still remember it. Right after lunch on a Saturday. School was back in because I was already planning on deer hunt with that thing. I was going to kill, well, I don't know. We didn't have no deer, but I wanted to deer hunt with it. Showed up with his money. Paid me $60 or whatever he had to pay, with his interest, and took my bow away. Boy, I was heartbroken. Well, the funny thing is, Christmas rolls around, and Daddy knew how bad I wanted a bow. So, bow and arrow. That's what you Christmas. Of course, we're way too old for Santa Claus, but they still played Santa. They put stuff out after we went to bed. I was always bow and arrow, man. I want a bow and arrow so bad. So Christmas morning we get up and we had the normal pants and socks and underwear and that kind of bull crap. And over there hanging in the tree was an arrow with a bow tied to it. And it said, "Here's your bow and arrow, ha, ha, ha." And let me tell you something. You want to talk about a mad SOB. I couldn't cuss because I was only 14. Well, I did. I got up out of the living room. We lived in a little bitty house, living room, but bigger than the studio. And I just chunked everything. And I went back and got into bed. And they let me stew in there for a little while. And finally, he come in there, and you'd have to know my old man. He's a lot more tender-hearted now. I don't know what changed, but boy, he come in there with that, you get your ass out of this bed. You get in there, and you're going to be part of this family.
Spend time with your mama.
That ain't no way to be acting. You're to be thankful, you got a meal, much less somebody cared enough to make a little joke.
And he was right.
Well, yeah, he was right. But when I walked back in there, there's a big old black bow case laying there. And I had a Bear Whitetail Hunter 2. I don't know if you've ever seen one.
That was my first bow.
That was mine.
Even though, what year was that?
That was 1980, 79, 80, somewhere in there.
So my first bow, I'm like 13 years old, and that's exactly what it was, and it come from a yard sale.
Well, I'm sure this one come from one of his buddies.
Or a pawn shop or something.
Daddy, he was a coal miner, and they were always wheeling and dealing, selling and trading.
Same way when I worked sheriff's office, it'd get Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
I'd save my cash because them guys, they'd be selling ARs loaded down.
Because they need a go-kart for the kids.
Yeah. And then get income tax, and they'd go buy a bunch of guns. And I'd be like, where'd you buy it? Well, I'd know what I needed for next year.
Well, I don't know about you. Now, I love that bow, but that was a POS. I'd shoot that thing, boing. I'd watch that arrow arc out there.
But I really didn't know any better. It was the coolest thing,
I didn't have a peep sight.
Right.
I had sights, pin sights sticking out.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about a peep. And at that time, maybe there wasn't a peep. I don't know. You're supposed to learn to.
Mine had the peep with the
I didn't
latex.
have a kisser button or anything on it or anything, but matter of fact, I've shot with fingers. Mm-hmm. We didn't even have a
quick release.
There was no quick releases back then. You still shot off your fingers. And anyway, I shot around. I was never really any good with it, and I never deer hunted with it. I shot at squirrels and rabbits and stuff. That's all we had. And then I guess once I got out of high school, of course, I started chasing two-legged deer, and I didn't think too much about deer hunting. I hunted a little bit with a gun at some friends' houses, but my dad didn't deer hunt. Mm-hmm. And then I bought that golden eagle, $460 dressed. I don't know if I told you that, but I had a man at a hunting club told me I was the dumbest son of a bitch he'd ever met. Who would spend $460 on a bow? That's what he told me.
Now you can't even buy the sights and the
No.
and the rest.
Well,
for
he told
that.
me, he said, for $460, you can buy the finest rifle and you can hunt with it till you die. Why would you pay for that for a bow? Really? He gave me a tongue lashing. And I don't think I killed a deer. That was in the Tuscaloosa Nectar Hunting Club. And but I got better. And I shot, and then Matthews come out, and I bought me, I forgot what that Matthews was. I may still have it. I think I gave it to one of the boys. I'm sure it's gone if I did, but man, had to overdraw. I mean, so did the Golden Eagle, but I was shooting. I changed over. No, I was shooting that dang Golden Eagle when I killed them, because I was shooting those 2016 arrows, that 135 grain broadhead with overdraw. That arrow couldn't have been, whatever was the legal limit, 20 something inches, 24 inches, something like that. No wonder I didn't shoot my arm off.
Yeah, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago.
I killed 13 deer. I was in a hunting club in Barber County. That was in 1990, 91, 2, somewhere in there. But the old president of the club, you wasn't allowed to kill spikes. That's when people was just starting to try to grow deer. This back when a 6 point, you was proud of a 6 point or an 8 point. Nobody said what he score. Now I'm like a lot of people. I do like to shoot bigger deer, but you know what? I think if they've ruined deer hunting by worrying about how many inches of bone one of them's got. People have ruined their kids by not letting them kill deer. It ain't like we got enough of them out there right now. Anyway, he said his motto was bow hunters can kill spikes. And he said, I've never seen a fat Indian. Well, he ain't been on many reservations nowadays, no. but I guess he was talking about back in the old West days. But, oh, yeah, I laid down. I think I killed 7 doe and six biggest one was a 4 point, but I was laying them every weekend. It seemed like I was bringing deer home. And then I moved to a Matthews, and I've never looked back after that. So I'm shooting I've got this Matthews. I can't even remember the name of it now because it's 2 or 3 generations back, but it shoots fast. It killed deer. I just don't see the reason to upgrade. It's kind of like my telephone. I can't, when the battery finally quits charging, I guess I'll get me a new one.
That's him. Broadhead's I was telling you, my stepdad used to shoot.
Yeah. Oh no, my old dead cousin. That's what he shot. He loved them things.
Yeah. Simmons land sharks.
Man, that thing's like a half piece of roofing metal cut.
They got up to a 205 grain.
Well, I may have to go to. I'm going heavy. I'm going to go heavy. I'm getting away from the 100 grain stuff. I'm going. I looked the other day. I couldn't find 135 grain Montec or any of them.
No, 125s.
Well, let's put some weight behind them, boys. Montec, you out there? Hey, we're available pro style. But y'all shoot whatever you want. I shoot Montec. You can shoot whatever you want. I don't, and I won't say nothing about you shooting your Copeland broadheads. I shot them for years. That's all Walmart had.
And I filled a truck up with deer I've shot with Rage.
Hey, well,
my
first release was a ball bearing big old thing. Copeland made it, and that thing was it was twice as big as my thumb. I mean, it's a big old rascal and had a trigger like a gun, and I was on fire. I had that peep sight with a little old piece of rubber tubing on it.
Yeah,
I still think it's the best peep sight ever was. People are going back to that.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. When everybody got away from it, a couple of times I drew back on a deer and my peep wasn't there.
Oh, it wouldn't twist
and
right.
I said, man, if I'd have had that surgical tubing on there, it'd been lined up.
Yes.
So I go to Vans and I'm like, hey, put me one on there with surgical. And they're like, what? Really? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like I was talking about Savage Pendulum. The guy was out of Louisiana. Of course, that company doesn't exist no more. But when I started shooting a Savage pendulum, I was missing deer. Now in the yard, I could shoot with anybody.
Standing on the ground.
But getting the stand, I just fall apart when a deer comes out.
You got shook.
So
you had
so
the
my
fever.
stepdad's like, put one of these Savage pendulums on your bow and just try it, because that's all he done was archery hunting. He messed up. Once I put it on there, I started killing deer. And I told him the other day, I said, Mike, I've been thinking about going to buy me a new Matthews or something. And he said, well, what do you, how would you set it up? Because he don't hunt anymore, he can't see. And anyway, I tell him, I'm going to put that Savage pendulum on a brand new Matthews. What do you think people would say? They'd laugh
Well,
me out,
they
man.
laughed at Cuz with his whisker biscuit.
Yeah, I like.
And guess what's on that bare bow? A whisker biscuit. It's the new style, but it's a whisker biscuit.
Yep.
And I'm not so sure if I did a new setup, I wouldn't go back with a whisker biscuit and get away from the drop away and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do know guys that's had issues with their drop aways and it cost them a deer.
I've never had an issue with mine.
I mean, I had good luck with mine when I was still shooting a regular compound, but I did like the whisker biscuit because it would hold your air while you was in the stand. You didn't have to worry about it falling
just
off.
going down memory line. No, you're shooting. So you're saying you don't have a bow now, or you got a bow?
I don't. My nephew, he wanted my little short bow.
So you don't have a bow, but if you went and bought a bow today, you'd have put a whisker biscuit on it and a peep sight with a surgical tubing.
Yep. And
you gonna shoot fingers?
A Savage pendulum.
Savage pendulum. No. Release.
So I tried to find another Savage pendulum. I was gonna buy some up off eBay. You can't find them, but I got two in my gun safe that I've been saving.
Oh.
So and they're the fiber optic. They even light up. These are the good ones. Anyway, I've been saving them because
I tried a pendulum. I just never could shoot off with them. Maybe because I didn't have that whatever brand.
I didn't do good with the Keller. I tried the Keller pendulum.
Keller's what I had.
And I've tried one company still makes one, but it's a lot different than that. But the Savage pendulum, once you sight in 40 yards on the ground, 40 yards in a tree with the bow speed I had then, but that bow I was shooting was just a little over 200 feet per second. So one of these new ones, you may get 50, 55 yards out of that bow with one sight,
Yeah.
I'd like to try it on a new bow anyway. But I don't know if that's going to be in the works. Like, I've been having shoulder issues this week, so... And
You're
usually I'm going.
Take it from an old man. You're getting old.
Well, I'm typically gone during bow season on hurricane, and a lot of times during deer season, period. But
that may be changing.
Well, the seasons are changing, and things have changed a little this year for sure. But I don't know. I mean, I did get some guns out and clean them. I know I'm shopping optics. I've got one 7mm 08 I bought. I'm gonna let Grace hunt with some, and I may hunt with it.
She'll love it.
It's 36 inches overall, it'll be perfect. But
my boys, one of them shot a Model 7 Remington 708, and then the other one had a Steyr. Maybe it was Steyr I bought. He's got it now. He's had it so long I can't even remember.
Does it have the rolling safety on the back of it?
I think so.
Man, that's one thing I do like about the Steyrs. My nephew shoots it's an old model. It come dipped, but it's been hunted with so much it barely has any camo left to it. But it's got that roller style safety on the back, and that's sweet. It's $270. But his dad bought a Bagara, and gave him that Steyr.
Oh yeah.
So
I'd rather have a Steyr.
Well, get this. He bought it, gave him that $270, hunted with it not even a season, went back and bought a Steyr 308. Mm. He said it's
great
my
shooting gun. They shoot good. You got to work the trigger a little bit.
Right.
Other than that, they out of the box, they're pretty good. I don't know if that one's got an adjustable or you got to change it out. I can't remember. I don't think it was adjustable because we had some issues with his, and I had to carry it to a gunsmith, and he worked on it for us. But he told me bring it back, and I'm gonna put a whole new trigger in it. I never did, but that's life. And I got. While we're talking guns, I got my shotgun, and hopefully it'll be ready tomorrow.
Hopefully there'll be some pictures up of that.
Yeah, as soon as I get it, I want you to see it and feel it.
Yeah.
Just because the way it felt to me. Maybe you'll go, that's the way they all feel. I don't know. I mean, that's not the way my turkey gun feels.
Right.
But I did learn a valuable, me and the guy dipping it, it's an old 20 gauge 1100, built probably in the late 70s, early 80s. It is on a 12 gauge frame because I went and bought 100, I bid on that and then lost it. And then I found another one, bought.
I sent you 2 or 3. We was trying to narrow one down.
Synthetic stocks, got them. He looked at it and even when I carried them down there, he said, yeah, them's the right stocks. And then he called me last Thursday. Was it Thursday? Somewhere in there, Wednesday or Thursday. And he said, we've run into an issue. He said, an issue I never knew existed. And he said, your gun's actually on a 12 gauge frame. Everything is 12 gauge, which would have made my life easy. I can find 12 gauge 1100 stuff everywhere. I mean, down to the cap that screws on the end, it's 12 gauge. And I had bought a 20 gauge cap with a
the sling
and it wouldn't screw on there. And I thought, well, the Chinese people, they done sent the wrong thing. But now I've got 2 of them that's wrong, but he's putting that on there for me too. But he hunted me up a stock and a forearm he had. I don't know if it's synthetic or wood. I really don't care. I just didn't want to ruin the wood my daddy had because all them, that's a sentimental. I don't care if I ever put it back on the gun or not. I'll have the wood. And supposedly it's going to be ready tomorrow, so I'll carry him some cash. I told him, I said, what do you prefer? He said, I don't care. And bang, did I hear that? I don't know if y'all heard that. I hear little odds and ends, and I'm deaf. That's what's so weird. I can hear that, but I can't hear a drum in turkey. What? Well, actually, I don't know. Us hunting together, we've not had one come in drumming. So I don't know if I can't hear it or I just ain't heard one drumming in 4 or 5 years. So I'm hoping we're together hunting one day and you go, he's drumming.
And you go, oh, yeah, I hear it.
I hear it. I'm not as deaf as I thought I was. Matter of fact, I got to get my tetras out and get ready for Saturday I'm going on that dove hunt.
That's something I forgot opening dead dove season.
You didn't carry
I left my muffs. I left my noise canceling muffs. I left them in the Toyota, and last minute I jumped in my 3/4 ton and went in it, and we started shooting, and I was like, ooh. Because me and a buddy of mine was sitting side by side just so we could talk, because it was a little slow at first, and he let 3 rounds go bang, bang, bang. I said, oh, my ears. It was all,
And folks, let me tell you, this is coming from a guy that's nearly deaf in his right ear. Wear hearing protection. Back in my day, we lathered up in baby oil to get a tan, not knowing we was giving ourselves skin cancer 25, 35 years down the road. And we didn't wear hearing protection. I didn't wear hearing protection up until I really got to notice I couldn't hear no more.
Right.
And I mean, that Colt 45 pistol, my ears would ring for days, and I got there and shoot. I wasn't even sticking cotton in them. I wasn't even trying. But if you get out and shooting a gun, especially with kids, put the muffs on them. Mine's always wore muffs.
Well, now, they got these that you can hear with and stuff, so you can carry on a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, me and you talk when I've got my tetras in.
Right.
So,
I mean, no reason not to have it.
And I mean, you don't have to spend big money. But let me tell you what, even my tetras, they were about $1,000, maybe a little more. The other ones I got, it's a little more than that, but that's not even half the price of a good pair of hearing aids.
No.
So you can't even hunt in hearing aids because they don't noise cancel. If they did, I'd have me a set I'd wear all the time. I should be wearing them all the time. Probably some of this ringing to go away in my ears. I've noticed when I wear my tetras, it goes away.
That's what Gary told us. That's the reason he said he wore hearing aids. Yeah. He could hear, but the tinnitus.
Well, and what worries me with the tinnitus, they say, it can bring on, early onset of Alzheimer's and stuff because it does something in your brain. It ain't nothing to do. I've read up, and more and more and more. They used to say you damage some little hairs in your ears, they'd break. But now they think it's more internally in your brain. That signal, that sound has done something to that nerve that goes back in there to wherever, they can't be much in my brain, so I've damaged what I had. I guess I ate those lead paint chips when I was a kid, and hell, I probably would have been Einstein if I'd been born.
If you wouldn't eat that paste.
Well, I never was a glue eater though. But But lead paint was everywhere when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, you know, Daddy say, "You want to lick the brush?" You know. But no, I'm kind of getting excited. I don't get that fired up over deer hunting anymore.
It's a good time if you hunt out of lock-ons to be checking those cables.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Do not. Hey, if you use
Climber, check
your cables. If you use the tree sticks, if you've left them on the tree, let me tell you something. Because I take my lock on down, but I was bad about leaving my sticks.
Yeah. Check the ratchet straps on your ladder stands.
On your ladder stand. I was going to say,
the squirrels
I've got one
will
right
chew
now.
out
Well,
on
it ain't
them.
just that. I had one in 1 year grew so tight that
Yeah.
it was about to break the strap.
Yeah,
I mean,
you should
wouldn't believe how
readjust
fast an oak, a hard bark, pines really grow fast, but I'm just shocked at how fast. And man, they're so cheap.
And you need to check too. I noticed one of our Summit ladder stands down at the club the other day. One of the caps, I guess, had dry rotted or cracked, and it let water fill up in one of the legs, and it had swelled up during that ice and snow we had last year. And I told Jamie
like that.
I told Jamie today. I said we need to go ahead and take that one out of service.
Well, I've got one. My rail, same thing happened on the rail. So it's not this. I've got oh shoot, who is it? A Summit. I guess the Summit made these tripods right before they got bought out, and they're the thin. They're not square tube. It's a thin like rail that they're made out of. But I've got some rust, and that's something else to do too. I mean, paint you. Now's the time to paint them. Paint your stands. That way, it give that smell. Don't let that rust keep going. I've had that stand under 5 years and I ain't painted it yet. And last year I was sitting there looking, I said, this is pitiful. I'm going to let this stand rust away. And they're not cheap.
No.
You know, it's a 16-foot tall tripod.
Well, that's what I feel bad. You know that quad pod I got? I put that new top on it. Was going to take it down every year and didn't. You know, it's like $250, $300. Went down there, you can stick your finger through it. I pulled it off the other day and
Fabric just rotted away?
Hauled it to the dumpster, yep. So I'm going to have to do some
It's
replacing.
called laziness, and I'm bad. I'm telling you, we're all that way. But we have, I think part of it is we have such a long, liberal season. I mean, honest to God, we start hunting here in Alabama. What, it'll be about 14th?
October
15th?
1st if you're in Winston County.
Well, in Winston County, all the way to February the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're serious, and I used to be bad serious about it, I hunted every weekend.
Yeah.
It was rare unless I was on call. Sometimes I even hunted on call. I have answered a call in a tree before. I was hunting at a cell tower, though. But I think we're just, you're physically and mentally beat, and when you leave, you just don't care about going back down there.
My problem is turkey season comes right then, and I'm
now with it going to February, used to you had February and half of March. You kind of got a little rest.
Yeah.
Y'all, I mean, it
You
ain't
go
that
out
hard
on-
to sit there and blow on a mouth call or play on your slate or your box call. And speaking of which, did you see Redbeard's burl call he put out today? I'm hoping I got it.
I hope it's mine. I've been
I'm
waiting
on that
for a
list
while.
too. He said he had to go down these lists. I said, well, look good because I think my name's on it. I'll show it to you. I'll pull it up.
I think my name will be on the list before yours.
I don't know
on
if
the
it is or
burl.
not, but me and him's tight. He wished me a happy birthday.
Speaking of birthdays, happy birthday, Alex DeBoard.
Oh, yes. Or as somebody called him, Alan.
Alan.
I said, yeah, happy birthday, Alan. Let's see. Oh, that's why it's not there because I'm on the wrong Facebook page. Let me get it. Oh, you're going to, you better hope it's that. Let's see. Look at this. See, come on. Look at that call.
That's exactly what I'm waiting on.
He messaged me and said, I'll have to check my list because I've got quite a few people that's been on the list waiting on this. And I said, I messaged him back. I'll show you the message. I said, well, if you'll look down that list, my name's on it somewhere.
Yeah.
So he said, well, he put it on a couple of different posts, but or a couple of sites, but he didn't see anything but demons and demon heads and something eyeballs or some kind of stuff.
He sees some stuff in there.
And this one, he said, into the abyss amongst the demons, treads, and brazos. Brazos?
Yeah.
I can't pronounce all of his words. And now, knowing that he's a computer programmer, he probably knows all kinds of stuff. That is a beautiful call.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, you better keep an eye on your messages every day because he won't give you but so long.
Yeah, that's what I was just checking. I mean,
oh, now you're checking. Yeah. Oh, no. I've already jumped ahead of. I believe I'm in front of the line.
I've been out of service all day. You're gonna have to look back because October.
I am.
October of 23 is when I messaged him about that.
I'd have to. I don't know. I'd have to go back through my messages,
but it would be awesome. I wish he would text me or message me. That would be great.
I don't, because I'd like to have that one. I tried to get it. Where is my messages at? Let me go back to his page. Can I go to messages? Well, people, just come along with me. Come along with the ride. Well, let's see here. No. I got to go somewhere else. Let me go over here. See, I may have texted him direct. I can't remember. Let's see. That's where he did. He ignored me when I tried to get him on the podcast. There's all my kill that turkey with your call. Kill that turkey with your call. Love it. Congratulations. Anthony, you're the best. I'm making calls just for you now. Let's see. Let's see. October 17th. Hey, buddy, meant to let you know my beautiful call arrived Monday because he gave me the tracking number. Let me go on back. Oh, October 1st. Hey, I'm over in Greece.
Greece.
Yeah, right there. Hey, I was in Greece. I was on that cruise.
Oh, yeah.
I love that Burl call. Can you make me one? Sure, of course. I assume I'm on the list.
Well, you may be 22 days ahead of me then.
I don't know. Yeah, but how many's ahead of that?
Probably
I waited
hundreds.
on that other call. I don't know how long I waited on that call.
Yeah.
6 months.
Man, if he puts one up, it's gone.
Oh, I know.
Even like on his normal stuff.
I would love to have him on our podcast.
Yeah.
I'd love to get him over here.
He's a character.
I'd put some chairs out here and we'd put a fire out here if he'd just come out. We'll do a podcast around a fire. We'll come over there and sit at his turkey camp.
Yeah.
I'd love to sit around the fire with him and the dog.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I need to tell him. We'll come to Georgia.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll drive. We fixing to drive. We got hopefully a good surprise guest coming up here for long.
Yeah. This was just kind of we wanted to get one out.
Yes.
But yeah, we've got some stuff lined up over the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to be pretty.
Should be exciting.
Good.
Yeah. I think it's now that we're in a permanent home, we can start having people over and we can start really concentrating. Probably do a little more work and lining up people. And you know what though? I was thinking the other day, and we're bumping up on 45 minutes. It was going to be 30 minutes, but we should be able to have a podcast just like me and you are sitting here doing. You know, if you have to have guests every day to make your podcast interesting, then I don't think you're doing something right. You're just an interviewer.
Right.
I mean, I think we've talked about some interesting stuff tonight. If people don't like it, I mean, I guess they don't like it. But personally, I enjoyed. I'll bring up how I just heard it today. Fistful of Dirt. He basically just read a story he had wrote. He does. I think some of his best podcasts are when he is just sitting there talking.
Right.
Now he's a lot more interesting than I am. Y'all don't want to hear about me, 13 years old and shooting turtles down there in the creek, but maybe you do.
You know, one thing that we were talking about getting stuff together, be a great time to make sure your battery's good in your rangefinder.
Oh,
that
and I need to check
me one
mine.
time. That happened to me one time. I didn't do
hey,
my homework.
It'd be a great time to check your battery and your fiber optics on your bow sight.
Yeah.
How How many times have you twisted it and no light come on? I have had it happen a bunch of times.
Well, and if you're shooting a crossbow with illuminated sash, you need to check
better
your
check
battery
it. Hey, because trust me, what happened to me during turkey season?
And
I had changed the battery.
For no more than they cost, just change the battery.
Just change the battery, and I did.
Yeah.
But you know what? Me and you had but yours didn't die. Your scope was on just as long as mine. I think I had a weaker battery.
Well, what I did, though, you changed yours at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I changed mine, I think, before we left going to Oklahoma because I just didn't want to have a problem and us being on the road. Because, the one time I had to go 2 or 3 places during COVID to try to find a battery and all that. But no more problems with that. I think me and you got to looking through our totes, and I had 4 or 5. You had 3 or 4.
How long does those things really last? I'm afraid that
the lithiums. If
they don't have air.
Well, if you put them in the freezer like the military does, they keep them refrigerated. It's almost unlimited. But
I was told because with these Tetras, you use the little hearing aid batteries.
Right.
The minute you pull that tab off and that touches air, it starts dying, going downhill. So I don't know, but maybe I need to put all my hearing aid batteries in the freezer. I hadn't thought about it because I buy them by the gross.
Yeah.
I'm not running out.
Yeah.
I've got two big boxes of them.
Yep.
Because I got to change them out for Saturday.
I know, like our supply sergeant military, we use a lot of those 3-volt lithiums and AA lithiums and stuff in our equipment.
While we're talking about that little emergency strobe, did you ever have one of them that I guess it depends on your stuff? I know the Special Forces guys had them. It was a little strobe light. You hit the button. It used a little battery. Was that a lithium battery?
Yeah. Yeah, this lithium. And that's what I'm saying.
I've got some of those.
They would have a refrigerator full, and
batteries?
Yeah, and they would keep them cool all the time. And we never had no battery issues. So, may not be nothing to it, but the military keeps them cold.
I've got some of these tins. I need to show you those. My father-in-law acquired them when he was a colonel before he died, my ex-father-in-law. He was my father-in-law then. We went in divorce, so he's still my father-in-law. But it's full of all kinds of stuff. It's like a survival kit, but it had one of them strobe things on it. And boy, I don't know. I've got 2 or 3 of them. I've also got some smoke grenades down there from Vietnam. I'll show them. I'm afraid I'm not going to ever use them. I don't guess. I mean, maybe when the zombie apocalypse hits, I might need it to mark. Here I am. But
or to bug out.
I've got 2 ammo boxes full of those things. They're in little green cans, about that big around, about that tall. I hope that's what they are. It could be mustard gas. I don't know. I don't even know where they come from. I don't know how I acquired them. I'd like to get me some grenade simulators though. Ooh, I'd like to have my hands on. Boy, we had some fun in the strip pits with them when I was a kid. High school. We had the law come looking for us one night. We was shaking house windows. My buddy was in the guard. He joined when he was in 11th grade. Then you could just, I guess, put them in your pocket and walk out. And then we'd run that, really, it was like blasting cap wire. Stick that thing over under a rock or somewhere. We'd be up in the old strip pit and go to the car battery. Boom! Boy, just, the percussion would knock your ass down. Maybe that's why I'm deaf now. I don't know.
Could be. Was you wearing hearing protection?
No, I was not. Matter of fact, I wasn't even using protection. So that's a wonder I didn't end up married back then by shotgun.
Yes.
But anyway, I don't know what else to go. Well, I do have a little PSA I need to go over real quick before we end this thing. If you've got just a minute.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Can you give me Let me
give you the floor. Let me give you the floor for a minute.
Folks, this is mainly directed over at Mossy Oak Gamekeepers, Fistful of Dirt podcast, the Gamekeepers podcast, Mossy Oak Nursery. Come on, guys. Once again, I'm all but begging. If you could see me, I've got almost a tear coming out the corner of one of my eyes. 'Cause you could do it. It'd take one phone call. You don't even have to talk to Toxie. You know who's in charge of that crap over there at the office. Just make the call. Lorraine, whatever you want to be called. Tell your daddy. If you're here listening to this and he hadn't listened to it, tell your daddy. We want to be pro staff. It don't take much. One push of the button, pro staff. And I know, cuz you know my address. You sent me 2 books. I didn't buy them, but you sent them. You gave them to me. I'll let you autograph my Tom Kelly 2nd edition 10th Legion book. That's an honor. I don't let just anybody autograph it. I've turned down people. Bobby, Dudley, any of you over there at Gamekeepers? Toxie, you're the man. All you got to do is point. You ain't even got to push a button. You can just point. Point to our name. Anthony Crow, Dustin Miller, the meat eater, the meeting too. We are meat eaters. That's part of our problem. I've got to buy some new camo this year. All mine's a little bit big on me. But you know what it'll be? It'll be Bottomland. Mine will be new Bottomland. I've got some of the old stuff, but I grew up in that. I like the new. Dustin, he's a well, you just heard it on his bow. He's old school. He likes that stuff. He's the original guy. I'm new.
And Greenleaf.
Greenleaf, yeah, which I dislike even more than the original.
I'm on turkey hunting Greenleaf.
You got to get closer to that mic. You done lean back again.
I'm on turkey hunting.
Are you jumping in here with me?
Yeah.
So, come on, folks. We represent you every day.
I mean, my truck's got mossy oak wrap on it.
Our door. I just bought a giant roll of wrap. We're going to wrap the door in it. Our shadow box. It's going to have mossy oak fabric in it. We travel the country hunting birds. Everywhere we go, they ask us, are we with Mossy Oak? Because we represent you guys so well. Listen, I wouldn't, and I hate to even say this word, but I found out I had a Realtree shirt in my drawer one day getting my Mossy Oak out, and I threw it in the garbage. I wouldn't have Realtree in my house. Matter of fact, I wouldn't wipe my tail with Realtree toilet paper. I'm a Mossy Oak man, top to bottom. I think Dustin is too. He's up there.
That's all that's in my house.
That's it. If y'all made broadheads, I'd buy them. If you made a Mossy Oak turkey call, I'd buy it. I'm just Mossy Oak. So, Cuz, Lauren, Bobby, Dudley, the whole crew over there, show us some mercy. Come on. Send us an email and tell us we're on the team. Pro staff team. We'll make you proud. You know, and if this don't work out, you're going to see me in February in Nashville. And if I have to crawl up there on my hands and knees and beg, and please don't make me do that. I have to do enough of that just to put food on the table. But I will. I'm going to. So just remember, the Meat and Two crew want to be pro staff with Mossy Oak. That's about all I got to say on that subject tonight. What about you? You got anything else you want to lay out there?
No, I think we're good for this one.
Well, I know we didn't talk a whole lot, but I think hopefully you got something out of it. Please, and before we do go, share this podcast with your friends. Go follow us. Go to Apple or Spotify. Follow us. Give us that 5-star review. I mean, it don't really mean nothing to us, but it means something to Apple and Spotify. That's how they put you up in the search engine when somebody, apparently, they search for hunting or outdoors or just a good podcast. The higher you go, the more stars you get, the more favorable reviews. Somehow their little algorithm puts you higher up the list. So it would just get us out there better. So do that. Do that for me. And we appreciate every one of the people that listen. And I think next week we're gonna cut off the hunting club names. And we're going to announce a winner, and we'll get your name out there and get a hold of you, and we'll send you something real special. We're not going to tell you what it is, but you'll like it, I promise. Matter of fact, it might be a couple of things. I don't know. So Anyway, if you ain't got anything else, Dustin, I say we call her and we'll get this thing published and out there for everybody to listen to and get another one going for next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you next week.